Guys, seriously, what the fuck? I literally have more likes on this video than I have views on most of my videos across both of my channels. I don't know what I did differently to hit gold on that video, but thank you all so much for watching, and liking, and subscribing, and all that stuff. I've always tried to be the kind of person that doesn't gauge their own self-worth through the validation of others, which makes this whole YouTube thing a bit ironic. But all the views and likes, and especially the kind comments, definitely put a smile on my face. I really do appreciate it, and I hope I can drop some more content that you guys will enjoy. As I've mentioned in the comments of that video, more challenge runs and MGSV stuff coming soon-ish. Gotta balance this with university, as some of you may know, this is the last semester of my stint, so I've gotta knock it out. But here's a rough draw-up of the schedule moving forward, of course subject to change. For example, it says the next MGSV run is going to be Grey Fox, but I'm actually going to drop a poll for Grey Fox, Raiden, Naked Snake, and the boss, so take everything with a grain of salt. Anyway, just wanted to quickly address the elephant in the room. Let's move on to a video that'll likely make significantly less views: Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew Builds. Hey guys, welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew Builds, the series where I'll be constructing classes, weapons, races, and more based on characters and items from your favorite anime, comics, TV shows, and video games. Today we're going to be releasing the third set of subclasses from the Soul Reaper Homebrew Build class. So if you want the base class, as well as subclasses for Rukia Kuchiki, Toshiro Hitsugaya, Kenpachi Zaraki, and Yachiru Unohana, go check out the videos for the Eyes Wide Open banner characters and/or the Thirst banner characters. Link in the description below. For those of you who have already watched those episodes, you'll probably realize that a lot of this script is recycled. Yeah, I own that shit. Anyway, today we're going to be constructing subclasses for the Soul Reaper class, inspired by the 1000-Year Blood War A Brief Glimpse banner of Bleach Brave Souls. Alright, to knock out the first couple of base class feature changes, the Soul trait. Ichigo Soul Reapers gain a plus 20% boost to all Zanpakuto weapon attack damage rolls, and at 20th level, any damage they take is reduced by minus 12%. Rukia Kuchiki Soul Reapers gain a plus 20% to all special Zanpakuto weapon attack damage rolls, and at 20th level, their melee weapon attack damage deals plus 16% more damage while they're at maximum hit points. Finally, Renji Abarai Soul Reapers gain a 1-round reduction to their special Zanpakuto weapon attack cooldowns, and a plus 16% melee weapon attack damage boost while at maximum hit points at 20th level. As for flash steps, everyone gets 2, par for the course. Onto the nitty-gritty, the real changes, the new Blood Warfare archetypes and Shikai/Bankais. As per the previous scheme of just using the BBS in-game unit description as the subclass description, for Ichigo, the two antagonistic but balancing forces of the Old Man Zangetsu and Ichigo's Inner Hollow are reforged along with Zangetsu into 2 swords, which Ichigo grips with the will and resolve to fight using his own power. The whole true Shikai, true Bankai, true Zangetsu thing in the 1000-Year Blood War was probably one of my favorite elements in the entire story. Kubo quite literally tied the development of Ichigo's power to the narrative of the story, making his portion of the arc, the largest portion of the overall story, intrinsically tied to Ichigo's own power and character development. Very impressive writing, Kubo. Anyway, with this archetype, your Soul Reaper gains True Shikai. This one's a bit wordy, so brace yourselves. At 7th level, you unlock your True Shikai and gain access to 2 separate purely black blades. One is the size of a greatsword, in the shape of a kyber knife, with the grip at the base of the blade and handle extending back from this about roughly the width and length of your forearm. There is a thin, hollowed-out portion running along the back edge of the blade, from the base to the middle of the blade. The second blade is relatively small, about the size of your arm, and is similar to the first blade, but resembles a trench knife more than a sword. Unlike its counterpart, it has an enclosed handle, with a portion acting like a handguard. This feature grants you a Zanpakuto weapon attack and 3 special Zanpakuto weapon attack options you can use while wielding your Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto weapon attack. When you attack, you fire a small blue Getsuga Tensho, a slash-shaped energy wave made of highly condensed spiritual pressure, from your small knife-like blade, a small red Getsuga Tensho from your large blade, and a Getsuga Jujisho from both. All 3 blasts have a range of 30 feet and deal 2d6 force damage, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. Saves can be made for each part of the attack. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 1. You can fire a blue Getsuga Tensho by simply pointing your smaller sword at a creature and making a small slash with it as an attack action. Your blast deals 3d6 force damage to all creatures in a 60-foot line in the direction you make your small slash, or half as much on a successful dexterity save. This skill has a 1-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 2. You unleash a violent vortex of Reiatsu, sucking in and slicing up anything in its path. The vortex travels 30 feet forward, and any creature within 5 feet of it must make a dexterity saving throw. Creatures get sucked in and take 2d6 slashing damage for 2 rounds if they fail their save. If the creature succeeds on their saving throw, they avoid being sucked into the vortex and being damaged altogether. Creatures within the vortex are considered restrained and move with the vortex until it dissipates. This skill has a 3-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 3. You can leap into the air and launch a Getsuga Jujisho downward onto your enemies. A Getsuga Jujisho being when you fire a Getsuga Tensho with each blade of your true Shikai, fusing them into a large, cross-shaped blast of energy. Creatures within 200 feet of you take 3d6 force damage or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. This skill has a 4-round cooldown. At 9th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a d8. At 13th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a d10. So our normal attack string gives us some mini Getsuga Tenshos and Jujishos that have smaller range and less damage, but can be kinda rapid fired. Strong Attack 1 is a full power Getsuga Tensho, so more range and damage, but just 1 attack. The vortex goes fucking cray. And then we have the Strong Attack version of Getsuga Jujisho. Also, this guy is fucking nuts for damage, just like in BBS. Get a guy in the vortex, he's confirmed for 4d6 damage, and he's restrained. Then on the next turn, before the vortex ends, hit him with a NAD string for a total of 6d6 damage and a combined total of 4d6 damage over 2 turns at level 7. Fucking cray. Also, I considered adding knockback to the Getsuga Tensho strong attack, but adding BBS collision mechanics is gonna be a pain in the ass, so no. Anyway, moving on to old peach ass here. The real power of Sodeno Shirayuki is to lower its possessor's body temperature below freezing. However, the bankai that comes with the acquisition of this true power is perilous. Even half a misstep could cost Rukia her life. Alright, Suicidal Shikai, based AF. Rukia, go cray. Alright, Sodeno Shirayuki. At 7th level, you unlock the true power of your Zanpakuto, one of the strongest ice-type blades to exist, as your ability to drop the temperature in the area around you begins to approach sub-zero temperatures. This feature grants all types of your Zanpakuto weapon attacks the ability to freeze a creature for a round on a failed Constitution saving throw, and 3 special Zanpakuto weapon attack options you can use while wielding your Zanpakuto. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 1. You can dash 10 feet forward, slashing upwards at hostile creatures within 10 feet of you, causing an explosion of freezing cold wind and snow without invoking an opportunity attack. Hostile creatures within range must make a dexterity saving throw. They take 3d6 cold damage or half as much on a successful save. This skill has a 1-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 2. You can drop the temperature around you so fast, it causes an explosion of cold air in an area of 30 feet around you, followed by a vacuum of cold wind 10 feet around you. The initial explosion deals 2d6 cold damage to any hostile creature within its area of effect, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. The subsequent vacuum sucks in creatures within range and deals 2d6 cold damage to them while restraining them until the start of your next turn when the vacuum ends. This skill has a 3-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto Weapon Attack 3. You can drop the temperature to nearly sub-zero temperatures in a massive range of 200 feet around you. Any hostile creature within range takes 46 cold damage, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. This skill has a 4-round cooldown. Frozen. Frozen creatures are incapacitated and can't speak or move, with the exception of actions that do not require physical movement. The creature automatically fails strength and dexterity saving throws. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. Any attack that hits the creature is a critical hit if the attacker is within 5 feet of the creature. The effect can be ended if the frozen creature succeeds on a DC 25 strength saving throw or is exposed to heat. At 9th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a D8. At 13th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a D10. So of course, like Toshiro, her damage and crowd control can get a little nutty because of the freeze condition, and while she doesn't have the same raw damage as Toshiro, at least in BBS, she can keep up because of the damage over time with her body-centered vortex. Also, I kinda fucked up with Toshiro, so while on that topic, addendum. As you might have noticed, the freeze condition no longer has the 5-round heat stuff. That's because it doesn't make any fucking sense, because freezing only lasts for 10 seconds in BBS or a round in D&D. Normally it's not important, but Debilitator, which both Toshiro and Rukia have, adds another 10 seconds to that, or 20 seconds in total, so 3 rounds total. A lot fewer rounds than the 5 that you'd need to be exposed to heat to escape before. Anyway, moving on to Renji Abarai, it turns out that Hihio Zabimaru is not the real name of Zabimaru's Bankai. Renji demonstrates his power to Zabimaru to show he is worthy to learn the true name of its Bankai, Soho Zabimaru. Really enjoyed Renji's character development this arc. While Rukia gaining her dumb-busted Bankai was awesome due to her getting vengeance against Asshole, the mirror between Ichigo and Renji getting their Bankais together in the Soul Society arc, only for them to get their true Bankais together in the final arc as well, is some really nice symmetry. As for the powerful new true Bankai itself, with Soho Zabimaru, at 7th level you have earned your Zanpakuto's true power and unleash its might on a scale of which has never been seen before. Gaining a blade as a sort of gauntlet on your right arm with a long snake tail made of bone extending from the bottom of its hilt, and a massive gorilla-like arm that floats behind and is controlled by your left arm. This feature grants you 3 special Zanpakuto weapon attack options you can use while wielding your Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto weapon attack. When you attack, you can attack with your gorilla arm dealing 2d6 bludgeoning damage, or your snake sword dealing 2d6 slashing damage. Special Zanpakuto weapon attack 1. You can roll 5 feet forward 3 consecutive times, slashing downward at everything within range of your blade and causing a massive bright red explosion of spiritual pressure 30 feet around you with each downward slash, all without invoking an opportunity attack. Hostile creatures within range of each part of the attack must make a dexterity saving throw for each part they are within range of. They take 2d6 slashing damage if within range of the blade, 2d6 force damage if outside the blade's range but within blast radius of the Reiatsu, or half as much on a successful save either way. This skill has a 1-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto weapon attack 2. You can make a massive hook punch with your gorilla arm hitting any hostile creature within 10 feet of you for 3d6 bludgeoning damage, any hostile creature within 30 feet of you for 2d6 bludgeoning damage, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw either way. This is then followed up by a backhand blow with the gorilla arm dealing 3d6 bludgeoning damage to any hostile creature within 30 feet of you, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. This skill has a 3-round cooldown. Special Zanpakuto weapon attack 3. You can slam your gorilla fist into the ground as an action, causing an explosion of force that hits any hostile creature within an area of 200 feet. Any hostile creature within range takes 3d6 bludgeoning damage or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. If you choose to charge this attack for 1 round, concentration rules apply. Your snake sword changes shape for this attack, growing fang-like square protrusions out of the blade, as you slam it into the ground, causing a massive eruption of Reiatsu in a range of 300 feet, and dealing 46 force damage to any hostile creature within range, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. This skill has a 4-round cooldown. At 9th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a d8, at 13th level, your Zanpakuto's damage die is increased to a d10. So we had a dual wielder with Shunsui already, but this is probably the coolest version of dual wielding we'll ever get. I can't imagine the practical utility of that Zabimaru arm, but I imagine it's similar to having a forever mage hand or something like that. Regardless, we've got the sword, the arm, the damage, the range, and of course our first charge attack, which is fucking sick by the way. Next up, 9th level starts our skill upgrade section, where Ichigo gets a 40% Berserker, just in case you wanted to reduce a Tarrasque to Slush via 1,000 cuts. The power of your attacks now that you've achieved your true Shikai is vastly superior to anything you could have hoped to achieve before. Your special Zanpakuto weapon attacks now deal plus 40% more damage. Now that's great and all, but both Rukia and Renji get a 20% bruiser. Should have known they'd end up together. For Rukia, the cold of your blade freezes to the bone, allowing for more powerful attacks. The damage dealt by your Zanpakuto weapon attacks is increased by plus 20%. For Renji, the power of your new blade and your massive gorilla arm can tear through your enemies like paper. The damage dealt by your Zanpakuto weapon attacks is increased by plus 20%. Next, we get the hype climax of the class, the ultimate Zanpakuto weapon attack. For Ichigo, we get what is quite possibly one of his 3 strongest attacks, the Getsuga Tensho Gran Rei Sero. At 14th level, you combined your Soul Reaper powers with your Hollow powers to create a fusion of a Bankai and a Resurrection, the Horn of Salvation. While in this form, you combined your strongest attacks in each form, the Soul Reaper's Getsuga Tensho and the Hollow's Gran Rei Sero, and launch a blast of high-density spiritual pressure so powerful it can warp space and inflict immense damage to anything it hits. You launch this Slash Blast attack at a creature and it explodes on contact, causing all creatures within 400 feet to be caught in the attack. The creature you launch the attack at takes 5d10 slashing damage, and all other creatures within range take 5d10 bludgeoning damage, or half as much on a successful saving throw. This can only be used 3 times per long rest. Horn of Salvation is probably right behind Dangai/Mugetsu Ichigo as my favorite Ichigo form. The thematic tie between Horn of Salvation being a fusion of Ichigo's Shinigami power and Inner Hollow, and his strongest attack in this form being a fusion of his signature Shinigami attack and the signature attack of Arrancar Hollow, and the awesome subversion of expectation that this peak of Ichigo's character does fuck all to Yuha is excellent. Next, the based Suicide Bankai. Bankai. Hakka no Togami. You can reduce the area around yourself to sub-zero temperatures, causing immense damage and inflicting freeze. When you activate this ultimate Zanpakuto weapon attack, you deal 5d10 cold damage to any hostile creature within 400 feet of you, or half as much on a successful dexterity saving throw. For 5 rounds after you use this attack, a vortex of absolute zero wind surrounds you up to 30 feet. The vacuum sucks in creatures within range, and deals 3d6 cold damage to them while restraining them until the end of the vacuum. This can only be used 3 times per long rest. White Mist Sentence, White Sentence Mist? It's one of those two, I'm pretty sure it's the first. Anyway, one of my favorite audio lines in BBS has big Ikaku Bankai energy, and that vortex is going to be an even bigger bitch for enemies than the strong attack too because it sticks around. Finally, the Mask Insta-Killer himself. You launch a spiritual pressure attack in the shape of Zabimaru that inflicts immense damage and has a small chance to instantly kill. You lunge toward a creature within range of your movement speed and thrust your blade towards them while unleashing your Bankai's ultimate power, the technique Zaga Teppo, which creates a massive snake's head made out of Ryatsu and heat to extend out of the blade and chomp on the target while exploding outward 400 feet in every direction. All hostile creatures within range must make a Constitution saving throw. The creatures die outright or take 5d10 fire damage on a successful Constitution saving throw. This can only be used 3 times per long rest. Same normal beats, 400 foot range, 5d10 damage, but we also get a fucking sick insta-kill just like all the best ultimate Zanpakuto weapon attacks so far. Finally, I'll go ahead and rapid fire what each subclass gets for their last skill upgrades. For our Ichigos, we're gonna get Devastation to amp just how hard our already devastating Getsuga Tensho Gran Rei Sero is gonna be hitting at 15th level. Flurry at 16th level to play into our NAD character type, and also become BBS's and D&D's first ever ranged Flurry character. We get Weakened Defense at 18th level to help others get licks in on our enemies after we straight bomb them with our Horn of Salvation Getsuga Tensho Gran Rei Sero. And that's it. Ichigos don't get jack shit at Capstone, just be happy you're fucking busted as it stands. And you still get a resurrection, so just relax for a bit while I cover the others. Rukia gets Debilitator at 15th to triple how long her freeze is going to last. I swear it's like a fucking revolving door where you freeze the enemy and because of high hit count, you basically refreeze them as soon as they thaw. Devastation at 17 to make that Haka no Togami hit even harder, making it all the more worth it for the base damage and the vortex. Frenzy to make you a special attack monster at 18. And yeah, if you can't tell, she's a strong attack character. And finally, to make up for Ichigo's lack of a capstone, she gets 2. Long Reach to extend her normal attack range, which isn't as good for her as Havoc would have been since she's a strong attacker, but oh well. She can't always constantly spam strong attacks and will need her normal attacks on occasion. And Freeze Duration, making her immune to the frozen condition and freeze-like effects. Which of course has limited usefulness as Frozen is a homebrew condition, but if you ever go to Frostfell or Icewind Dale or whatever, being able to not have to worry about the weather would definitely be nice. Finally, at 15th, 17th, 18th, and 20th levels respectively, Renji gets Devastation, something good to have in the likely event that the insta-kill of Zaga Teppo doesn't proc, Frenzy to hit like an absolute madman with his nuke-range strong attacks, Havoc to extend those nuke range and now nuke strength strong attacks to the range of a fucking small country, And long reach, just to make sure that your bases are covered and that there is nowhere your enemies can run to, nowhere far enough away to hide from anything that you do. So, for resurrections, God, I can't believe I kept fucking saying transcendence last time, fuck me. Anyway, Ichigo really gets a reward. Long reach so that your normal ranged attacks go even further, bruiser so that they hit even harder, and a brand new upgrade because speed droplet drop increase had to be tweaked a little bit, speed increase. When you defeat a hostile creature, roll a percent die. If you roll a 70% or higher, you gain a +1 bonus to your dexterity score to a maximum of 20. So you've got a decision now. Do you make dex your dump stat knowing that you'll be able to max it out at 20th level and deal with the consequences getting to 20th level without good dex? Max dex anyway and waste one of your capstone res features? Or try to risk striking a balance between both? Add to that, Ichigo's normal attacks in this form make him probably the strongest NAD character you guys will ever see on D&D homebrew builds, since he's doing what, max 40 plus damage to a target over 35 feet away? And that's not even considering the fact that you can stack a Berserker boosted Vortex on top of that beforehand. Anyway, Rukia's boosts are mostly in the form of strengthening pre-existing skills. Bruiser gets bumped to 30%, Devastation gets bumped to 50%, and her only new skill is, oh wow, would you look at that, a 20% Havoc to extend the range of her strong attacks. Almost like we mentioned that earlier, huh? Anyway, Renji gets a little shafted, which he's probably used to since it happened all the time in the manga, but he gets a 20% Berserker, which is good, some more strong attack damage. Devastation goes up to 50%, which is good, more soul bomb damage. And follow-up, which is bad. Fuck follow-up. Alright, that's all she wrote for a brief glimpse, which turned out to be anything but. Be on the lookout for the other homebrew build that should be dropping at the same time as this one, which will feature the Future banner characters. So the Future Soul Reaper class variant featuring subclasses for True Bankai Ichigo, Kisuke, and Yoruichi, as well as a brand new, and I say that in air quotes, Stern Ritter class featuring a Yuha subclass. These two homebrew builds are going to be the last of my Bleach coverage until the second part of the new anime drops, reigniting my hype for Bleach. Until then, we'll be doing a voting system, where I'll be dropping polls on the community posts and scouring the comments of this video and the future homebrew build video. But as it stands, the options for the poll are going to be a King of Stranglers class for Imai Cosmo from Kengan, a Saber class inspired by Fate Grand Order with subclasses currently featuring the 4 5-star Saber units I own, Altria Pendragon, Altera, Ryogi Shiki, and Senji Muramasa. A Cyborg class for the Winds of Destruction and Raiden from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, another game I haven't played but do own and can play if you guys really want to see it. Or a Jack the Ripper class from Record of Ragnarok. Also, just to clarify, just because I did not list a character doesn't mean I won't choose it over all these options. If community requests and support for a Raiden is high enough, I'll do that one, so be sure to comment if you want a character that isn't in the above 4 options. Okay. Let me know if you guys liked this class variant by leaving a like, a comment about how you liked it or what you want to see next, and maybe consider a subscribe and hitting that notification bell like you guys have been fucking pounding that thing this past week, shooting me from 62 subscribers to over 700, blazing right past my main channel too. Make sure you guys check out the 4th variant set for the BBS The Future banner featuring True Bankai Ichigo Kurosaki, Kisuke Urahara, Yoruichi Shihoen, and the new Stern Ritter class featuring a Yuha subclass option, link in the description down below. Aces mates, I've been the most legendary YouTuber in feudal America and creator of the 2 videos under one Susan style of content creation, and this has been Dungeons & Dragons Homebrew Builds. Thanks for watching, peace.